Elon Musk is the richest man in the world who I believe purchased Twitter as a massive advertising and marketing buy for his companies and for his propaganda machine. I believe that he has angled to go right and far right and has gone so far as to preemptively endorse Ron DeSantis because the demographic of the products that Tesla will be coming out with very soon, the Cybertruck and the Semi, are both products that don't have the target market that the Tesla electric vehicle has. And I say that from personal experience. I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Illinois. I grew up in central Illinois, in Danville, Illinois, East Central Illinois, which is it's Trump country. But thankfully, with redistricting, my hometown, Danville, is now in a Democratic district. But I grew up there in the 90s. I drove a GMC Sierra 2500 truck. The number of trucks in my school parking lot, from old to new, far outnumbered cars. The car showrooms in my town and the towns around me always had more trucks in them than cars. Flip it. When I went to law school, and then I went to college in the same area in University of Illinois, and that was also the case there, unless you went to some company lots like Toyota or Hyundai or Lexus or BMW, where trucks just weren't there. But used car lots and general car showrooms that had different brands, they all had more trucks than not. Same thing was the case when I went to law school in Michigan. I lived in Lansing, and I went to school at Cooley Law School, which is infamously known as one of the worst law schools in the world, but it's ABA accredited, and I'm proud to have graduated from there. And all the cars there, same story as it was in Illinois, in rural Illinois. This is rural Illinois. Danville, I would consider to be rural Illinois, still to this day. And Lansing is not rural; it's a capital of Michigan, but it is not Grand Rapids or Detroit. It's not. It's red country. I think it's now a purple country. But flip that, and you go to Chicago, where I also lived and owned and lived. My first home I bought in Chicago, and I lived there. And I remember that the car lots were very different. There were more cars than trucks. There were obviously a greater variety because this was Chicago. And from my experience and from what I am observing, there is an element of the demographic change that Elon is doing for his own image because of his products, mind you. Because his base of electric vehicles in the urban sector is already stabilized. And whether he loses people in the United States for the Tesla electric vehicle cars that are prevalent in urban areas, or he's going to make up that money for the sales of Tesla in other countries of the world, India being one of them, because India is currently a massive rising power. It has overtaken the United Kingdom as being the 5th largest economy in the world. So the demographic change for Tesla is one aspect of Elon's purchase of Twitter. The second aspect of it is pure megalomania. You know, money doesn't buy, in my opinion, money doesn't buy happiness. Money feeds the ego. The more money you have, the more things you can buy, the more control you can have, the more power you feel you have, the more control you have over other people's lives, over how other people direct their choices. Money buys you that. Money is an ego booster. Money doesn't make you happy. Money makes you feel more entitled to all the things you can now buy and control because of your money. And part of that has been displayed by Elon's flagrant abuse of the social media platform and the arbitrary censoring of people like Kathy Griffin and others, including myself, but I'm a little guy. And then going out and saying, the hypocrisy of saying that Apple is the one censoring him by saying they're not going to advertise on a platform that is now rife with disinformation and hate and harmful content.